If I told you that Argentina's dominance didn't begin when they won the World Cup, would you believe me? Because the biggest reason Argentina keep winning has almost nothing to do with lifting trophies. It started years earlier, quietly, while the football world was obsessed with Lionel Messi, Brazil's superstars, and Europe's biggest clubs. Something extraordinary was happening behind the scenes. Argentina weren't building a team. They were building a machine that would conquer South America, then conquer the world. Today, they've become the team every nation fears. They've won the Copa América. They've won the FIFA World Cup. They've won another Copa América. And even on days when they don't play beautiful football, they still find a way to win. So here's the question. Why? Is it simply because Lionel Messi is the greatest player of all time? Is it because Neymar is no longer at his best? Or is there a much bigger reason hiding in plain sight? Because once you understand what really happened inside the Argentina national team, you'll realize this wasn't luck. It wasn't destiny. It was a revolution. And it may not be over yet. For years, Argentina were football's greatest underachievers. They had world-class talent. They had Lionel Messi. Yet every tournament seemed to end in heartbreak. The 2014 World Cup final. One goal away from football immortality. Instead, defeat. Then came back-to-back Copa América finals against Chile. Twice they walked away empty-handed. Twice the dream slipped away. The criticism became unbearable. Many questioned whether Messi could ever replicate his club's success with his country. Some even argued he would never deserve to stand beside Diego Maradona. Every tournament became less about Argentina and more about proving one man right or wrong. While Argentina struggled under impossible pressure, Brazil looked like South America's true powerhouse. Whenever Neymar stepped onto the pitch, defenders panicked. His pace, his dribbling, his creativity. He could change an entire match with one touch. To many fans, Brazil always felt like the team to beat. But football has a funny way of changing when nobody is paying attention. Because while everyone focused on the stars, Argentina started fixing something much more important: their identity. And that's where this story truly begins. For nearly 15 years, Argentina had one dangerous weakness. Everything depended on Messi. If Messi produced magic, Argentina usually won. If Messi had an average game, the entire team looked ordinary. Opponents knew exactly what to do. Stop Messi, and you stop Argentina. It sounds simple, but for years, it worked. Then something changed. Argentina stopped asking one player to carry 11 men. Instead, they built 11 players capable of carrying each other. That single decision transformed everything. Today, this team looks completely different. When the goalkeeper is called upon, Emiliano Martinez produces moments that decide tournaments. When the defense comes under pressure, Christian Romero refuses to let attackers breathe. Rodrigo de Paul runs for 90 minutes as though the match has only just started. Enzo Fernandez brings calm. Alexis Mac Allister controls the rhythm. Julian Alvarez presses defenders relentlessly. Lautaro Martinez delivers goals when the team needs them most. Notice something? None of those players need Lionel Messi to perform. That's the difference. Old Argentina needed Messi. This Argentina supports Messi. And that's exactly why they're so difficult to stop. But even that wasn't the biggest change. Because behind every great football dynasty, there is usually one mastermind. A leader almost nobody expected. And Argentina found theirs. When the entire football world was looking somewhere else. When Lionel Scaloni was appointed as Argentina's head coach in 2018, the reaction was almost unanimous. Confusion. He wasn't Jose Mourinho. He wasn't Pep Guardiola. He wasn't Carlo Ancelotti. In fact, many football fans barely knew who he was. Some journalists even described him as a temporary appointment, a placeholder, a coach who would eventually be replaced by a bigger name. But that turned out to be Argentina's greatest advantage. Because while the football world underestimated Scaloni, he quietly rebuilt the national team from the ground up. He wasn't interested in creating a team of superstars. He wanted to build a team that trusted each other more than their individual reputations. That meant making difficult decisions. Big names were no longer guaranteed a place in the squad. Every player had to earn it. No exceptions. Slowly, the atmosphere inside the dressing room began to change. The pressure disappeared. The egos disappeared. The fear of failure disappeared. Instead of 11 individuals wearing the same shirt, Argentina finally became one team. And that's something statistics can never truly measure. Watch Argentina when they lose possession. The forwards sprint back to defend. The midfielders fight for every second ball. The defenders stay compact instead of panicking. Everyone works. Everyone sacrifices. Everyone believes. That level of commitment doesn't happen by accident. It comes from a culture, and culture wins championships. But Scaloni made another decision that changed the future of Argentina. Football forever. He stopped building the team around Lionel Messi. Now, that doesn't mean Messi became less important. Far from it. It meant Messi no longer had to solve every problem by himself. For years, every attack began with Messi. Every difficult moment ended with Messi. Every defeat was blamed on Messi. Imagine carrying that weight for over a decade. Now imagine what happened when that burden was finally lifted. After winning the Copa América in 2021, something changed inside Messi. You could see it in his body language. The frustration disappeared. The pressure disappeared. He smiled more. He celebrated more. Most importantly, he trusted everyone around him. And the rest of the squad responded. Instead of waiting for Messi to rescue them, they rescued each other. When Messi was marked out of a game, Julian Alvarez stepped up. When the midfield needed control, Enzo Fernandez and Alexis Mac Allister took responsibility. When Argentina needed a hero in a penalty shootout, Emiliano Martinez delivered. That's what separates champions from talented teams. Champions always have another hero waiting. But here's where the story becomes even more interesting. Because while Argentina were becoming stronger with every tournament, their biggest rivals were slowly becoming weaker. Brazil still had world-class talent. They still had players capable of producing moments of brilliance. But they were beginning to lose something even more valuable than talent. They were losing their identity. And at the center of that story was one player whose career changed the balance of power across South America. Neymar. Was his decline really the moment Argentina took control of the continent? Or is that only half the story? Now we arrive at the question that divides football fans more than any other. Did Argentina rise because they became better, or because Brazil became worse? At first, the answer seems obvious. Neymar. For more than a decade, he was Brazil's heartbeat. When Brazil needed inspiration, they looked to Neymar. When they needed creativity, they looked to Neymar. When they needed someone to change the game with a single touch, they looked to Neymar. He wasn't just Brazil's best player. He was their identity. There was a time when defenders feared Neymar the same way previous generations feared Ronaldinho, Ronaldo Nazario, and Rivaldo. His dribbling could destroy an entire defensive line. His vision created chances from nothing. And no matter how badly Brazil played, they always believed Neymar could produce one magical moment. But football can be cruel. Injuries began to interrupt his career. Major tournaments were affected by fitness problems. Long absences from the national team made it almost impossible for Brazil to build consistency around him. And little by little, the Brazil that once terrified the football world began to lose its identity. But here's where many people get the story wrong. Saying Argentina dominates simply because Neymar declined is like saying a champion wins, because everyone else forgot how to compete. That's not how football works. The truth is much deeper. Brazil still produce incredible footballers. Vinicius Jr. is one of the most explosive wingers in world football. Rodrigo has delivered on the biggest stages. Rafinha continues to prove his quality. Their squad is filled with talent. So why haven't they dominated South America? Because talent alone doesn't win tournaments. Teams do. While Brazil searched for the next Neymar, Argentina built a system where no single player was bigger than the team. That difference changed everything. Think about the greatest international sides in football history. Spain between 2008 and 2012. Germany in 2014. France in 2018. None relied on one player alone. They relied on structure, discipline, chemistry, trust. Argentina followed that same blueprint. And the results speak for themselves. Every player understands their role. Every player knows exactly where to be. Every player is willing to sacrifice personal glory for the badge. That's why, even when Lionel Messi isn't at his brilliant best, Argentina still find ways to win. Because this team has evolved beyond one superstar. But perhaps the biggest reason for Argentina's dominance isn't tactical. It isn't technical. And it certainly isn't luck. It's psychological. Winning changes people. Before 2021, Argentina entered major tournaments carrying the weight of decades of expectation. Every mistake felt catastrophic. Every defeat reopened old wounds. Then came the Copa América final against Brazil. 90 minutes that changed everything. When the final whistle blew, Argentina didn't just lift a trophy. They destroyed years of doubt. From that moment forward, the mentality of the entire squad transformed. Pressure no longer controlled them. Instead, they learned how to control pressure. And once a team discovers that belief, stopping them becomes incredibly difficult. Confidence is one of the most dangerous weapons in football. Once a team becomes convinced it can win any match, opponents begin to believe it too. That's exactly what has happened with Argentina. Watch them when they concede an early goal. There's no panic, no frustration, no desperation. They simply continue playing. Because champions understand something most teams never learn. Football matches aren't always won by the team that starts the fastest. They're won by the team that stays calm when everyone else begins to lose control. That's what Argentina have mastered. Whether it's a hostile away crowd in South American qualifying, a tense penalty shootout, or the pressure of a major final, this team never looks broken. And that's why beating them has become so difficult. But does that mean Argentina will dominate South America forever? Absolutely not. Football never stands still. New generations always arrive. Uruguay continue to produce fearless young players and remain one of the toughest teams on the continent. Colombia have developed into a disciplined, dangerous side capable of beating anyone on their day. Brazil still possess one of the deepest talent pools in world football. If they find the right coach, rebuild their identity, and create a true team instead of relying on individual brilliance, they could once again become the continent's dominant force. The gap isn't impossible to close. But at this moment, Argentina remain the standard, not because they have the best player, not because their rivals became weak, and not because they were lucky. They are on top because they solved problems that had haunted them for decades. They replaced pressure with belief. They replaced dependence with teamwork. They replaced individual brilliance with collective excellence. And perhaps that's the biggest lesson of all. The greatest teams aren't remembered because they had the greatest players. They're remembered because they became greater than the sum of their parts. That's exactly what Argentina have become. A team where every player understands the mission. A team where the shirt matters more than the name on the back. A team built to survive difficult moments. And until another South American nation can match that unity, discipline, and mentality, Argentina are likely to remain the team everyone else is chasing. But football has a way of surprising us. Dynasties don't last forever. One tactical revolution, one extraordinary generation, one inspired coach, or one young superstar. That's all it takes to change the balance of power. So maybe the better question isn't why Argentina are dominating today. Maybe the real question is, who will be brave enough to end their reign? Will Brazil rise again? Can Uruguay build another golden generation? Could Colombia finally take the final step? Or will Argentina continue adding trophies to one of the greatest eras in their football history? Only time will give us the answer. Until then, the kings of South America wear blue and white. Now it's your turn. Do you agree that Argentina's dominance is the result of building the best team in South America? Or do you think Brazil's decline and Neymar's injuries played the biggest role? Let us know your opinion in the comments. We'd love to hear your perspective. If you enjoyed this documentary and want more in-depth football stories that go beyond the headlines, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next upload. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next documentary.